Hello and welcome to the Powerful Personal Brand Podcast, where I share tips and tricks to help and inspire you to build a great personal brand, to increase your visibility and authority. I am your host, Claire Bahn. I'm a personal brand strategist and the CEO and founder of Claire Bahn Group. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of the key things that you need to do to build a winning personal brand. It may sound kind of interesting, but I've seen it come over and, come at me with clients or with people that I do consultations or people that I talk to. One of the biggest things that you need to know in order to build your personal brand, and it sounds funny, but you have to know what you want to be when you grow up. So you might be 40 years old, but if you don't know what you want your personal brand to be, without a doubt, the biggest impact you can have with your personal brand is literally being there when someone needs you. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, simply like thinking of Google search and YouTube, thinking about me personally. If someone is trying to find an answer to a question they have about personal branding, I've pretty much I've done so many of them on my blog and on YouTube, in this podcast. So you can find an answer. So that's one of the biggest ways to get that know, like, and trust factor, is to answer someone's burning questions they're actually searching for and giving them the answer, giving them the who, what, when, where, why, and how, giving it all to them. That is going to be how you build your personal brand. So I find a lot of times I have a program called Fast Track. It's a DIY self-paced program. And I have a mentoring element of it that people can do. You can either do the DIY with or without mentoring. So we had someone that was doing it with mentoring, and she was really struggling. And basically, she didn't know what she wanted to be when she grew up. She thought that joining Fast Track would help her figure it out. It won't. You have to know what your expertise is. And so say you are, you're in the finance space or marketing or technology, and you want to be a coach, a business coach, or I had a client who was a physical trainer. He worked in HR, then was a personal trainer. He actually had expertise in both. He was so clear about these silos. His business and his career was this. He had a degree that gave him that authority to be a personal trainer. He also lost, I believe it was like 100 pounds. So he not only had the authority, but he had the experience, and he had the thing that would magnetize people to him, because they were like, wow, if you could do that with your career, and you can also be a personal trainer that lost 100 pounds, I want to come to you. So if you want to have essentially your personal brand to build this side hustle, you need to know what it is. And you need to be able to show that you are an expert in it. If you want to be a business coach, if you want to be a coach of some sort, you actually have to have a certificate or something that says that you are what you are. It's actually interesting because in 2020, I feel like there's so many people that came out of the woodwork that were like, I'm a personal branding expert. I remember I think I was doing I saw something that was like a YouTube ad, and I just decided to watch the video. And I think the person was an actual trapeze artist who was talking about your personal brand. I was like, what? Like, baffles my mind. I don't even know who this person was. But there are so many people that are like, I'm just going to do this because I branded my website for my trapeze business. I can do it for you too. I'm a personal branding expert. I mean, I work with like CEOs, CXOs. I mean, very accomplished, amazing people. Those people would never go to someone like the trapeze artist. That would not be enough of that know, like, and trust factor. So a lot of times if you really want your personal brand and the side hustle to really take off, to really be the thing that pays your bills, you have to put in the work, put in the homework, and really just think about, this is such a key thing. And it's actually interesting because I've spoken to other people in some of the past podcasts, and I never really thought about this as being kind of an empathetic trait that I have. But I often think about, what would I do in a situation, if I had to hire somebody, so if I had to hire an expert, would I do the research? Yes. So why do I think that I don't need to stand up against all that research? If the expert that I hire needs to have a degree, needs to have 5 years at least of experience, needs to have testimonials, needs to have these things, if that's what I'm looking for, why do I think that someone else doesn't expect the same thing of me? So a lot of times, I feel that maybe the people that struggle with this the most don't really kind of come at it with more empathy. They don't really think of what someone else feels, thinks, and wants. They only think about what they think and want. Building a great personal brand is not going to, you're going to have a hard time if you're very focused on yourself. I've said this many times. Your personal brand is not for you. It's for your ideal audience. Me doing this podcast right now, it's for you. I'm doing it for you, to help you. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing this because, clients and past people that I've worked with have had this exact problem. And I know that one of you is having the same problem and this is speaking to you. And that's why I'm doing this. So you have to, and it goes back to what I've said in my previous podcast. You have to have altruism in your heart. You truly have to want to give information and help people. Does it have an ROI? Yes. But I don't walk out there every day going like, what's my ROI? Am I going to get a lead? Are these people going to subscribe to me? Am I going to get a press interview? I go in here, right here, recording this podcast episode going, you know what? Many people that I've dealt with have this issue. I guarantee someone that is watching or listening has the same issue and I want to help you. And I hope this does. If it does, please leave a comment. I'd love that. Make my day. But that's one of the biggest things. When building your personal brand, you have to know what you want to do when you grow up. You have to have it nailed down. And you have to pass that full Google test. Are you qualified compared to your competitors? If your competitors have degrees, certificates, and 5+ years of experience and you don't, that's going to be a big uphill battle. If you don't know who your ideal client is, what their problems are that you can solve, client, audience, whatever you want to say, then that is going to be a problem. You need to figure that out before you start building your personal brand. So really hope that helped you. And I hope that you work on building that really strong foundation before you build that personal brand, because your personal brand is not going to help you figure out what you want to do. It's not. Someone like me, personal brand strategist, I'm not a business coach. I'm not going to help you figure out what you're good at. It's not what I do. You saying like, okay, these are all the things that I do, make one of them my thing. Like, you have to know what your thing is. You can't expect someone to do it for you. And one of the things that's interesting when we've had this situation happen with clients, when they say, okay, these are all the things that I'm good at. And we basically say, okay, great. These are the things that actually have high search volume. These are the things that we think that we should highlight. 9 times out of 10, the person is unhappy with what we do. Well, you don't get it. It's not what I want. You're like, you don't even know what you want. And that's how I came up with the you don't know what you want to do when you grow up thing. You need to know what it is before you build your personal brand. And certainly before you hire a marketing person to put in the work. Because if you say, this is my personal brand, and then you change your mind, you need to realize that they did their job based on what you told them to do. If you change your mind, that's on you. So it's better to just do the work and figure out, one, what you want to do, and then how to get there to be competitive in that field. If it's something that you don't really have a lot of background in before you start building that personal brand. So that's my 2 cents on one of the key factors to building your personal brand successfully in 2022. And I hope that you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode.